video. Today is October 12th, 2025, Sunday. What is it? About 11:05 a.m. And today is my 28th birthday today.
Damn!
Which sounds crazy. I kind of realized I never really told you guys about my story or whatever you want to call it, growing up and all that. I'm on my way to the house that I grew up in, and I'm gonna take you guys like around where I grew up and all that type of stuff. Right now we're in the turbo mirror, got this thing running good, keeping voltage. But yeah, let's go to the house where I grew up in. That a lot of good, a lot of bad, a lot of ugly, but yeah, it's what made me, or whatever you guys want to say. Let's do it. Come on. Right now we are entering Hercules, California. If you don't know where Hercules is, it's right in between Rodeo and Pinole, and then you got El Sobrante and then Richmond on the other side. So it's kind of right in the middle of everything. Mostly, when I was growing up at least, mostly like a Filipino town. There was a bunch of different people out here though, but for the most part it was just a giant melting pot of different people, different cultures, which was dope. You know, I got to grow up with a bunch of different people, try different foods, you know. It was tight. It was a good neighborhood to grow up in. Now it's a lot different than when I grew up here. So I'm gonna take you guys around, show you a little bit. When I was growing up, I feel old as hell saying this because I hear this from a lot of old people, but when I grew up, none of this was here. This whole shopping center and all this stuff, this was all just a dirt lot. On like Halloween time and stuff, they'd have pumpkin patches and Christmas trees being sold here, but this was just all dirt. Nothing was here. Now there's a bunch of stuff here. Like none of this was here. It was just an empty dirt lot, which is crazy. Now we are heading into Hercules. It's kind of like downtown and all this stuff. I always love this underpass because you get to growing up, I used to be big BMX guy. I used to ride all over this town, up and down these hills, bombing stuff, hitting the park, you know, going to the school. I'll show you guys the school here in a little bit. But yeah, that was my addiction before cars, was bikes. Refugio Valley Park. Used to spend a lot of time there. Right up here, we got the Hercules police station. Spent a little bit of time there, getting in trouble. We got the library. I remember when this was built, this was like the craziest building in Hercules at the time. Nice library for sure. But now we're about to turn on Redwood, which is the street that I kind of grew up on. See? Redwood. Now don't get me wrong, this is definitely the suburbs. Didn't have it hard growing up. Pretty much had everything that I needed when I was growing up until like a certain age when I had to get my own shit. But yeah, this is definitely a suburban area. Suburban dude.
I'm a suburban dude.
I remember coming down this hill one time to go meet my mom at the gas station, and I was trying to pick a song on my iPod, and I was smashing down the hill on my BMX bike, looking at the iPod, looked up, went face first into a car, into a parked car at that, fucking broke my nose, black eye, bunch of shit. Good times, man. When I had my Mustang, I tried to slide this corner and then went up into that driveway when I didn't know what I was doing. Oh God, bring back a lot of memories coming over here. But right now we are about to turn into Oak Court. This is the court where a lot of stories unfolded here. I have no idea who lives here anymore, so I'm gonna kind of be a little quiet coming through here. That's hella funny. There's people outside, so I'm not gonna really film too much, but that corner house right there is where I grew up. Got some buns for the first time in that house. I wonder if it's still here. Yep. You see those two little divots right there? That was a BMX jump back in the day. It used to be a lot bigger, a lot funner, but looks like they tore it down. There's so many stories in this damn neighborhood, but yeah, I don't even know where to start. But as you saw, nice house, 2 stories. I think it was like 2,400 square feet. The back of the house had like a view similar to this because we're on a hill. Super dope view. We used to watch all the fireworks and 4th of July shit. But you know, not every story is like picture perfect, you know what I'm saying? So growing up, both of my parents were alcoholics, and usually around, I want to say 6 or 7 o'clock, you know, my parents would be, they'd be drunk, and I'd be kind of to the neck, you know, I'd be making my own decisions, doing what I wanted to do, like leave the house, go out, whatever. But when I was, I think it was like 13 or so, I came home high as hell one day. It was like 13, no, I was probably like 14, 15, I think maybe 15. 13 is a little young, but came home high as hell one day. I'm like, okay, I'm chilling, you know? My parents obviously aren't gonna be tripping like that, so didn't worry about going to the house. And when I came home, my mom, I'm gonna stop drinking. It's like, why? You know, at the time, I didn't realize that it was a problem for them. But now that I'm older, obviously, you know, drinking every day, going through bottles every night, every day, it's an issue, especially when you got kids and shit. But at the time, I didn't realize it was a problem. So when she told me that, it was shocking, and fucking it was not in the best state of mind because I was hella high, so it didn't really register like that. But since that day, my mom has not had a drink of alcohol. And like I said, I'm 28 now. That was, I had to have been like 13 or something, because it's been, I think, right around 15 years since she's had a drink, which is crazy. Shout out to mom, because if she wouldn't have stopped drinking, I don't know what I would have been doing, because right around that time, I was getting into a lot more trouble, doing a lot more serious things than, you know, the average person, I guess. You know, I was selling shit, I was riding around with a gun everywhere I went, I was doing a lot of stuff you're not supposed to do. So my mom when she quit drinking, it kind of steered me to the right path and want to do something, I guess, fucking not as stupid. All right, I had to switch to the iPhone because the GoPro ran out of storage, but since then, my dad's kept drinking, which led them to getting a divorce and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, without mom's, shit would have been a whole lot different. Anyway, that was the little story. Pulling up to my elementary school, went to kindergarten through 4th grade here. This is Hannah Ranch Elementary. A bunch of memories here. Really good school, to be honest. I just always grew up getting into trouble, so getting suspended, bunch of referrals, all that stuff. And then 4th grade ended up going to Stewart Elementary, but this is crazy. I haven't been here in so long. That's the office right there. When I grew up, they didn't have any of these gates or anything, so you could just walk through. But spent a lot of time in that office. This room right here, the first one, was my kindergarten classroom. Miss Ewing, the coolest teacher ever. I got my first fight in that classroom. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff happened at this school. good memories, bad memories, all the shit. But yeah, that's where I kind of started to get in trouble, was at this school. But good school overall. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Now let's go over to the high school where I really started to get in trouble. This was just like, you know, you get yelled at in class and all that shit, getting into fights or whatever, but nothing too major where you're actually gonna get in trouble. That's my elementary school, Hannah Ranch. All right, now let's go to the high school, which my mom actually was an inspector for, so that's really cool. So back to the house where I grew up at. A little bit more of a backstory about the house I grew up in. When my mom stopped drinking, my dad kept drinking. You're not gonna get along with people that are blackout drunk every day and you're trying to quit drinking. So ended up splitting up, getting a divorce. We moved out of that house when I was 18, something like that. I really started, you know, getting in trouble when I was going to high school, and like I said, started selling stuff. I had a girl set me up at the end of the court there. I'm trying to be YouTube friendly and tell these stories because I know there's kids watching and stuff, so don't do anything that I did or what I'm talking about that's bad. You know, selling stuff is bad, carrying guns that are unpermitted are bad. But yeah, I got set up by a chick I was talking to at the end of that court. She said she needed to buy a couple things, and then when I got in the passenger side of the car, her whatever was in the back seat, put a gun to my head, and then told me to empty all my pockets and shit. Quick little pan. This is the high school that I went to for a couple years, ended up dropping out of. Went here, it's a half middle school, half high school. So I went here 8th grade, and then I went to Pinole Valley for freshman year, and then back here for a little bit of sophomore year, and then ended up dropping out. But cool high school. But yeah, ended up getting in a lot of trouble there. But yeah, so much happened at that Hercules house. There's a lot of bad shit that happened. I kind of look at all the good shit rather than the bad shit to try to weigh out the bad shit. But a lot of stuff happened in that house, that court. Like I said, growing up with, I guess, alcoholic parents. A little bit different than the average person, I guess you could say. They weren't really worried about me getting into trouble so much, so I kind of found that as an escape, I guess, to get in more trouble, because then they would have to fucking come get me and then hang out with me type shit. I don't know if that's the reason, but thinking about it now, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, coming through more of Hercules, like I said, coming up here, Refugio Valley Park. Damn, they took down a bunch of trees. There used to be dope trees all along here. They took them out. Looked like they planted new ones, but yeah, used to come down here, smoke, sell a bunch of shit, and then mob over here to this shopping center. There was an L&L over here. Used to get like gravy fries and masubis and stuff because it was cheap. Yeah, I used to mob all over this place, man. On the BMX bike with shit in the backpack and trying to make it happen, trying to wiggle through here. We're about to head to Pinole, which is where I spent more than half of my time growing up, because it was either Hercules or Pinole, riding my bike from here to there, back and forth. Yeah, a lot of stuff happened in Pinole too. I'll show you guys what the high school looks like now. It definitely didn't look like that when I went there. It looks like a damn college campus now. But yeah, let's go check that out. Come on. And as we're leaving Hercules, there's so many more stories I could tell and give you a little bit more in-depth about, but it's not really needed. At that Hercules house is where I got into cars, because my dad, he he had, well, first he had a Carrera, I think it was a 993, the last of the air-cooled models, and that thing was badass. Triple black paint, black interior, black headliner. It was a badass car. He ended up selling it for like 30-something thousand, and right now they're like 100-something. And then he bought a, I think it was a E60 M5 V10. That thing was badass. I think that's what made me fall in love with the sedans, the 4 doors, because he had that thing. At the time, it was 500 horsepower, and it was like the fastest thing out. You know, it was gapping Corvettes, everything, CTSVs. I think the only CTSV out was the V1, which, you know, at the time, not supercharged, definitely slower than the M5. So, growing up, he had cars. For some reason, when I got into cars, he kind of fell out of cars. I don't know why. Short story, he's never came to one of my driving events, which is, I don't know. I took him for a ride once, kind of scared him, drifted some corners and shit. He's never got in the car since. Which, you know, it doesn't really make sense, because growing up, he took me to Sonoma, took me to all that shit, and I don't know, dude. Cool thing is, my mom comes to damn near every event, which is fucking badass. So shout out to moms. She rarely misses an event. And right now, we are pulling into Pinole, California, which is where I spent a lot of time as well. None of this shopping center was here. This was all empty lot, which is wild to say. Used to come over here to the donut shop in the morning on BMX bikes, get a bunch of donut holes, hit this 7-Eleven. There used to be a barber shop right there, get a haircut, hit Red Onion. Look at this though. This is the new high school campus. It looks like a damn college campus with how big it is. When I came here, it was the school that was built in like the 60s or something. I don't remember when it was built, but look at this place now. Insane. They got a theater and all types of stuff in there. When we went there, all we had was dusty books and shit, portables and stuff. The change is crazy, but it's cool to see, you know. You never want to see the city you grew up in go downhill, so it's cool to see it go uphill and progressing. Getting closer to the back roads, I'm gonna take you guys to where I first learned how to do donuts. This is Seamus Avenue right here. At the top of this is where I met Tone for the first time. Sideshow Tone, my brother, I've known him since I was 13, 14, getting into a bunch of shit with brother. But ended up buying my first V8 muscle car, which was a 347 stroker Fox body Mustang that he blessed me with. Sold it to me for a good ass deal. Shout out to brother for selling me the first muscle car I've ever had, and kind of getting me into this shit, because you know he's helped me out a lot, showed me a bunch of different shit, and took me drifting for the first time ever at Sonoma in his Boss 302 back in the day. So shout out to Tone, love you, brother. Now we are heading into the back roads, where we're gonna go to a spot where I learned how to do donuts for the first time, and got my car impounded and my first reckless driving ticket. Not all at the same time, very different years and cars and all that, but yeah, we're going to the famous spot. In that same Mustang, it was raining. I tried to drift this corner back here, spun out and almost hit that gate. Had no idea what I was doing, only knew how to do donuts, like super uncontrolled donuts, and try to kick clutch coming out of that turn. Idiot, dude. Almost there. I training course, or the racetrack, if you will, for a lot of people that grew up in Pinole. This is where a lot of us learned how to drive, learned how to stay on the road, learned a lot about car control. I haven't been here in so long. They even got they even got a police camera up here now. That's crazy. But yeah, let's hop out and show you guys, huh? All right. So, this is funny. This is kind of funny, not gonna lie. So, a lot of people started dumping here. I think that's why they put this here. But this is where I learned how to do donuts. Doesn't look like it because there's no marks here anymore, which is wild. There's usually tons of marks. They might have repaved it or something. But 2 lanes wide, 1 lane on each side. This is where we learned how to do donuts at. It's honestly not the best because there's a turn up there, turn right there. So it's kind of blind corners in a way, but this was where I learned how to do donuts. I did my first donuts ever here. I think I have a video of that. I'll try to find it and put it right here. I don't know how many tires have been killed in this exact location. Like I said, this is kind of where a lot of Pinole people learn how to drive, learn how to do donuts, learn about car control in this exact area. So it's cool coming back here. Tell you guys about a story that happened in the Hellcat. So when I learned how to do donuts, that was in the Mustang that Tone sold me. 347 stroker, 5-speed. Car was hella fun. But yeah, later on down the road, when I ended up getting the Hellcat, came here, we were filming. I forgot what we were filming. I think it was a driving tutorial or something. Doing donuts right here. And then over that crest, I see the top of a cop car because I see the light bar. I'm like, fuck. So I park it right here. Cop comes up, give me your keys, all the stuff. I think now I might have taken the video down because it's not a good video. But yeah, getting my first reckless driving ticket here, which is kind of funny and a big coincidence that I learned how to do donuts here, and then a few years later ended up getting my first reckless driving ticket there. Not saying that reckless driving tickets are a good thing to get whatsoever. Stay off the streets and you won't get them. Go to the racetrack and shit, which I do now. But yeah, learn how to do donuts here. Got my first reckless driving ticket here. There's a lot of memories, but this is where a lot of it started. And a lot of my first YouTube videos were filmed out here. Now it's kind of gone. We got this thing up here now. No more acting up out here. And back then with the Mustang, had no intentions in filming videos and doing YouTube and all that shit. I just started posting, doing donuts and stuff on Instagram, started picking up a little traction. And then I guess like a year or 2 went by, ended up buying the Hellcat when I turned 18, and then started doing the same thing on Instagram. People started liking it because I was low-key one of the first people to have a Hellcat out here. At the time, in 2018, they were, what, 3 years old? Because they came out 2015, so yeah, they're about 3 years old. Not, damn near no one had them, so I guess that's kind of why the Instagram started popping off. And then I'm like, shit, I might as well start posting longer videos because I wanted to do donuts for longer. And at the time, Instagram had like a minute-long video. You can only post a minute-long video. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just start uploading to YouTube. Started uploading to YouTube, started picking up traction, and that's kind of what changed my life. Not gonna lie, it changed a bunch of shit. I kind of saw I saw the potential in it and saw where it could take me and saw what I could actually do instead of just doing donuts in the middle of the street. Figured I can, you know, get sponsors and kind of make a career out of it, which it's working. It's kind of working. I'm not gonna lie, which I never thought it would, but we're trying, man. We're trying our best. This little strip of concrete is where I learned how to drive. For the most part, anyway. But where I actually learned how to drive was at the racetrack. So far, we went to the house I grew up at. We went to the elementary school I grew up at. We got to go to Stewart, which is the middle school that I went to from 5th grade to 7th grade, which a lot of the homies that I met at Stewart are still my homies to this day. So let's go up there and then check that out. Probably tell you guys some more stories. Let's hop back in the turbo marrow, man. And normally I would go a little crazy here just for nostalgia purposes, but can't do that anymore. Leaving the spot, didn't even burn rubber at all. I'm growing up a little bit. I remember one year when there was hella rain, this whole bridge got taken out. Till nice and beefy now, but back in the day it used to be an old bridge, and that shit just got washed away during the rain one day. Some more about that Mustang story. It was at night, raining, coming around this turn, right? Or it might have been right here, and I kick clutch and spun all the way out and almost hit that gate. Not a good experience, but it showed me what not to do, especially in a Mustang. It's hella bumpy back here now. It used to be smooth. And I had a bunch of homies with houses in Pinole, so I was low-key all over the place. Yes, once again, this is definitely a suburban area, but there's a lot of shit that goes on behind the scenes in suburban areas, you know? There's still a bunch of drugs, like, not too many gangs. There's a couple, you know, a couple little gangs here and there. But yeah, for the most part, a lot of the people that I was growing up with were trying to get some money. But looking at it, you'd be like, oh, this is a really nice neighborhood and stuff, and it is, but there's shit that goes on in every neighborhood, even like the rich neighborhoods. One little funny thing, there used to be, oh my God, I've never visited this area before, or this school before, but there used to be a trail that came up here, right where that opening is. So we ditch school, smash up this hill, and then try to escape. It usually didn't work. There's a few times we got caught and got arrested by the school cops and a bunch of stuff. We're about to pull up at my old middle school. So this is gonna be Stewart, and I used to hate walking up this damn hill. The steepest hill, I think, almost, maybe in Pinole. Look, Stewart right there. Every day the ice cream man would park right here. We'd buy monsters and ice cream and stuff. I remember one time this kid knocked over my full monster, and at the time that was all my money. I just spent $2.50 on a monster, and like that was crack. it was crack at the time. Monsters, every like white dude in Pinole or whatever was addicted to monsters. So some kid knocked my monster over and told me he wasn't gonna pay for it, so I beat him up over a monster. Insanity. Anyway, this is the middle school that I went to for 5th, 6th, 7th grade, and then went back to Hercules. But yeah, a lot of memories. My boy Rob went here, Ryan, G, hella people, Zach. There's so many of the homies that went to this school, which I'm glad I came here, because there's a lot of really good people that I still know to this day from going to the school. Went here. This gate wasn't here, so you can go on. We used to climb onto the roof and do hella shit. We were some badass kids. The principal here was Miss Butcher, and she did not like any of us really, because we're all in the same friend group. We're all doing the same shit, but especially me. I was getting in trouble. I was getting suspended damn near every week, referrals almost every day. So yeah, safe to say Miss Butcher didn't like me, but that was the school I went to that taught me a lot. So shout out to Stuart. So far we went to the house I grew up in, elementary, middle, high school, and then I had to go to summer school for a few years. Went to Crespi, if you guys know where that's at, that's in El Sobrani. I went to Richmond High, which that school sucked, dude. Out of all schools, that school was the worst. Not gonna lie, I was the only white kid in there, and none of the rooms had windows. So it was like a legit prison being in there. No windows, you didn't know what time it was, like if there was daylight, if it was sunny, if it was raining, nothing. It was really like a jail for real. So yeah, that was pretty crazy. And like I said before, we used to ride our BMX bikes all through Hercules, all through Pinole. And this is a cool spot up here. Oh, swerve that pothole. This is a cool spot up here. One of my homies, he had a house up here. In his backyard, he had a trail. And if you see up here, I don't know if you could really see it, but we used to ride dirt bikes up there all the time. He had his own little pit bike track that he built. And yeah, we got chased out of here by helicopters and a bunch of stuff before. But that place used to be hella fun. Coming up here, this is, I think the street's called Sarah. This hill either made you or broke you. We used to bomb this on BMX bikes, and let me tell you, this is one of the biggest hills in Pinole, and we would pedal as fast as we could down this hill and try and go as fast as possible. We'd probably be doing at least 30 miles an hour on a BMX bike. Some little kids, no helmets, smashing down this hill. Like, I remember being on this side of the road, coming down this way, passing cars. That's how fast we were going. And then we'd sneak back to that hill, ride dirt bikes back there. Yeah, there's a lot of memories in both of these two neighborhoods. Kind of covered a little bit of everything. I know this is like, the timeline is weird. I don't know if it's gonna line up at all, but I hope it all makes sense. Yeah, Hercules and Pinole, crazy area to grow up in, because like I said, it's in between Rodeo, which if you know Rodeo, they got projects out there and stuff. It's not the best neighborhood. Fuck. It's not the best neighborhood. And then Richmond is right behind me on that side of Pinole. This is Chalk Hill. We used to smash up there, ride dirt bikes up there. They used to leave like chalk or like grocery bags and spell stuff out on the hill, like, you know, rest in peace and all that type of stuff. And I don't know why I'm making this video today. I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit more about myself, because I don't know if I ever really told you guys about me. I'm always talking about cars and shit, but that's a little bit of my backstory. Obviously there's tons of more shit, but yeah, kind of showed you guys where I grew up, the places I grew up. It was mostly Hercules and Pinole, but being in the Bay Area, you travel to every city because you got homies in every city, so you're always in one of these places in the Bay Area. Whether it's 707, you're in Vallejo, 925 Concord area, Berkeley, right here within 45 minutes of each other. So we're always going some new spot every day, which is dope. Meeting a lot of new people, like I said, bunch of new cultures and stuff. I just yapped for like 30 minutes and the phone wasn't even recording. I was just holding it, pointing it at myself. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's kind of random. Just, I never told you like more about me. You know, I was just talking about cars and shit. But yeah, lot going on. I was burnt out for a minute. That's why I quit posting for a few weeks. But wanted to get excited about filming again. I'm pretty excited about filming again. Got a bunch of events coming up. About to go to South Carolina, towing the Drift Cat all the way to South Carolina for a DJ Cheeto and Burl's Donut Pit event. So if you're on that side of the country, make sure you come out. I think tickets are damn near sold out. So thank you guys. I hope to see all you guys out there. And then right after that, I'm gonna be going to SEMA for the Hoonigan Burnout Wars. First year driving at SEMA. Been there before, but never got to take the car and show some skills. So that'll be November 4th to the 7th. If you're in the area, pull up, you know, come say what's up. But yeah, thank you guys. If you're still here listening to me yap, I really appreciate you. Drop a comment down below where you guys grew up, where you went to school, all that stuff. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about me. I don't know how to end this video because I didn't have any plans of like how this video was gonna go. So if it's all over the place, my fault. But yeah, that's a little bit about me and where I grew up. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you, YouTube. Yeah, I got some exciting stuff coming up in the next video, so make sure you guys subscribe. And thank you for supporting. Thank you for changing my life, because if I wasn't doing YouTube, I probably would be doing some other shit. I would either be in construction or I'd be still selling shit. So thank you guys. Love you. I'll see you in the next video. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys, for real.